Every time with this thing. Okay, there we go. Hey everybody. No camera today because work wore me out. I'm just tired. Not tired enough to not stream, but being visually perceived is not within being visually perceived is not within my bounds today. So yeah, happy Friday. I hope the day was restful and or productive for y'all. So for me, better that I'm here, or better now that I'm here rather. With no cam, we can't even tell when you're trying to speak with a muted mic. Not that it's muted at the moment. Yeah. Now it's one of those things where I have to look at my own mic input from OBS to make sure that it's coming through correctly. But so it goes. Hi, Mood. Hi, Stubby. And hi to everybody else that's lurking. Good to see y'all. Glad to be here. Before we get started, I do want to shout out the Before we get started, I do want to shout out the $50 donation that we got. They didn't redeem anything with it, so I have to nod and give thanks. It was anonymous, so I also don't know who it was. Thank you for that $50 donation. I appreciate it. We are now about $125 away from our initial goal. Again, we are raising money for the Marsha P. Johnson Institute in support of Black trans people because it's Black History Month, and we support Black trans magic. That is not negotiable here. So yeah, if you want to know what the incentives are, you can do exclamation point incentives. You can do exclamation point milestones for the milestones as well. If you want to donate, donation link is in the bottom panels, as well as if you just do exclamation point donate. All of those will handle everything. So, as far as what we're playing today, so ideally, really, I wanted to play just a bunch of samsho tonight, Samurai Showdown, but the rollback beta that they have up right now, they did warn us about this, but the rollback beta that they have up right now is, it's in a rough spot. So it's playable when it works, but when it doesn't, it's not. So I'm going to do a little bit of training mode, try to see if we can get one or two good games in, and then I'm just going to switch over to Strive for the rest of the night. Beta actually in a beta state. Yeah, they said it was going to be rough, and it's one of those things where I don't fault them because this is, with Samurai Showdown 7 in particular, it was designed, it was not designed for rollback net play. And keep in mind that unlike, so the people that are working on it, Code Mystics, they'll get it right. But the main thing to keep in mind is that, Code Mystics has not yet worked on a at least to my knowledge, they haven't done actual work on adding rollback to an Unreal 4 game, so that's probably part of why it's a little rough, but they'll figure it out. Also, yeah, Stubby answered exactly the kind of question, exactly the answer I would have given. If you think this is the place where you have any truck with that fuck-ass Wizard game, Wizard of Legend is a fun game, but if you're talking about the other shit-ass Wizard game, of course not. So, just to get it out of our systems real quick, because I know that the buzz has been around it, I'm only going to say one thing. We don't talk about that wizard game here. Do not acknowledge its existence. As far as we are concerned, it is a fart on the wind and nothing more. We can talk about other wizard games, but just not that particular wizard. Then, if you see any mention of it, you are allowed to immediately red card. But yeah, feel free to talk about other wizard games, though. Wizard 101, Wizardry, Wizard of Legend, all of those are cool. But that one particular wizard game, that shit one that I know nobody in here wants to hear about. Again, for Sin, because it's mostly the thing that I'd ask them to do. That if you hear people say it, or it even looks like discourse is starting about it, then the answer is red card that, and you tell them we're not talking about that here, because yeah, Magicka, Wizard 101, Wizardry, all of those are fair game. Dork, you know. All right. So enough of all that lovely bullshit. I had fun mixing up the elements doing things I wasn't supposed to do. But yeah. To answer Ziggy's actual question, also hi Sin, and also hi Vallejo. I'm doing okay. I would be a little bit happier if the Samurai Showdown beta was a little more stable, but retrofitting rollback into a game that didn't have it is a lot. It's kind of hard. So, you know, we're gonna have to kind of like deal with that. Have I heard of Yomi Hustle? Yes. I'm fucking terrible at it, but it's a great game. I'm a ninja main because of course I'm a ninja main. I'm not capping, by the way. Like, I'm actually just bad at Yomi Hustle. It's very fun, to be clear. I think Yomi Hustle is a fun game and a pretty good one. It's just that the level of thinking that it requires out of me to play effectively, I have a lot harder to work on that. Game is very fun, but also kind of difficult. Okay, I'm on the right branch. Okay. Okay, so I can at least confirm that we'll be able to at least play like training mode and stuff for Samurai Showdown should be fine, but we're gonna have a real rough time getting good matches. I figure we might get 2 if I'm lucky, and then I figure that we might get 2 if I'm lucky, and then we kind of just eat shit.
死ぬことと見つけたり、修羅道とは倒すことと見つけたり、我悪鬼羅刹となりて目の前の敵すべてを切る。Samurai Showdown.
So, I'll run us through some of the basic mechanics of Samurai Showdown. I'll try to get maybe 1 or 2 good online matches, and inevitably multiple instances of the next one. Ah, God, that's not my fault. Anyway. Let's go to the samsho. Yep. So let's see. Turn this down a little bit because I realize that it's a bit louder than me. So. Yeah, we'll just do Kazuki. The new display setting made the screen kind of too small. No, it didn't. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm kidding. I fixed it. That's why. Let's see. Play. Menu. Too small? Alright. Small? Huh. Couldn't imagine. So strange, peculiar. I don't see it. Exactly. So, I'm gonna have to move this. I'm gonna move solar display just a little bit because we can afford to center it in this game. We can afford to center it because not much happens at this part right here. So, Samurai Showdown. So, to be specific about the history of the game real quick, just to run it down. This is the second game in the franchise with just the name Samurai Showdown. So to differentiate it, most people will call it Samsho 7 or Samurai Showdown 7 because it is the 7th mainline game in the Samurai Showdown series. Right. So you have the first Samurai Showdown, then Samurai Showdown 2, 3, 4. Second game, but actually 7th. The second game with the name Samurai Showdown in the entire series. Because you have the first one, which is also just called Samurai Showdown, and you have this one, which is just called Samurai Showdown. But technically speaking, in terms of like mainline, non-side game releases, this is the 7th Samurai Showdown game. So you have Samurai Showdown 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the updated versions of 5 Special, and 5 Perfect. But most people just play 5 Special. Samurai Showdown 6, and then this game. You also have a bunch of other ones like Samurai Showdown Warriors Rage and things like that. But in terms of like the mainline game releases, there are 7 Samurai Showdown games. In terms of like which ones are counted as the mainline. And this one is the most recent one. It was released in 2019, so you may see it. Yeah, it's like a Mortal Kombat. Yeah, it's like a Mortal Kombat 9 situation. Functionally speaking, this game is called by most outlets Samurai Showdown 2019, but really, most people just call it samsho 7 because it is the 7th Samurai Showdown game, the 7th mainline one. Also, hi Mojo. So yeah, Samurai Showdown. To describe this series and this game in a word, it's tension. Like, you have runs and dashes and everything, so Samurai Showdown is not necessarily a slow game. But Samurai Showdown is a tense game. Unlike a lot of other fighting games, right, where it's like, oh, cool, I got a hit, and I can do some long-ass combos, Samurai Showdown is generally not like that. Samurai Showdown's combos, for most characters in most situations, are like 3 and 4 hits. Samurai Showdown is a game about tension. Yeah, damage plays into part of that, but like the key sort of foundational rule of Samurai Showdown is tension. Singular buttons do, well, I'm hitting the heaviest slash I can, but like singular buttons will do a fair chunk of damage, right? And most combos, I can't do things like in other fighting games where I might go like A, B, like, you know, light, medium, heavy, or whatever, and things like that. Not really. Most times, if you're doing a combo in samsho, it's like... Let me turn off rage mode, because that kind of messes with a couple things here. Right? The main thing with Samurai Showdown, right? That oftentimes when you're doing combos, it's like short stuff like this. Getting jump-ins in this game is actually... Like, getting jump-in combos in this game is also kind of difficult. It requires getting, like, really deep jump-in buttons and things like that. So it's not like a game where it's like, oh yeah, we do a lot of jump-ins and things like that. Samurai Showdown is a game that's all about tension. It's not slow. It's tense. Because of the fact that, like, even if you don't combo, right, hitting with a strong button at, like, the right time will fuck people up, like, straight up. Like, buttons in this game hurt. And this is me playing with Kazuki, who has slightly lower end as far as that kind of thing goes, right? Like, Kazuki, for example, does have more intricate combos, like the kind you would expect in a more traditional fighting game. But his take resources and work, right? And notice that I did all of that, but like hitting with a strong slash at the right distance basically does as much damage as that combo, right? So Samurai Showdown is a game where, so if people tell you that it's a game about footsies, they're lying. If they're telling you that it's a game that's honest, they're lying. Samurai Showdown is not an honest game nor a footsies game. It's a tension game. So you have 3 attacking buttons that use your weapon, right? A, B, and C, and you also have a kick with D. We're gonna talk about the rage meter in a second, because that, you do bring up a good point, but that's another intricate thing, right? So, you have 3 buttons that use your weapon, right? As well as a kick button. You also have a couple other individual mechanics like being able to deflect weapon blows, dodging in place, and even grabs. But you'll notice that grabs in this game have a very noticeable whiff animation. The reason for that is because if you get a grab, it's, unless you like do certain other things, if you get grabbed in this game, congratulations, you've opened yourself up for a combo. So grabs are really strong when they hit, but to compensate for that, if you fuck up and you try to grab somebody and you whiff, you eat an entire bag of shit. Like, this game is not messing with you on that. The gauge that Stubby is talking about at the bottom, right, is called the rage meter, and this is basically how it works. Every character in this game, right, has a different modifier for how fast or how slow their rage meter fills up, as well as how long that rage meter lasts for. Kazuki, for example, is extremely easy to piss off if you hit it. Like, also, like, how much your rage meter goes up by depends on what moves you get hit by, but Kazuki is extremely easy to piss off. But his rage meter also doesn't last for as long. While you are in rage, the reason why having rage is important, when you are in what's called max rage like this, right, there are a couple things that you get access to. First is your weapon flipping technique. If you hit with the weapon flipping technique, right, if it hits and is not blocked, it will disarm your opponent. They can obviously pick up their weapon, but for most characters, when they are disarmed, their moveset changes drastically, and they lose the ability to do a lot of the things that they normally can do. Obviously, there are exceptions to this with certain characters, And if you are disarmed, you can just like walk near your weapon and pick it up. But while you're picking up your weapon, you are vulnerable, right? So in situations where like somebody manages to combo into WFT, for example, you eat. It hurts a lot. Not gonna lie, the more you describe it, the more I feel like it'll probably play well for me. Yeah, it just takes a little bit of getting used to. If you try to play samsho like you're playing Street Fighter, you're gonna get fucked up because that's not the kind of game this is. Honestly, I'm thinking about it, and even if we don't get good games for Samurai Showdown, I might just turn it into like a labbing stream because I'm not sure if I'm in the mood to like square up with people in Strive. Which is, I know, kind of a letdown from what I said in the stream title, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, it's been a while since we've just had a day where we sit down and I lab the game and I talk about it and how these things work, and I feel like the pace is just about right for that today, as opposed to me trying to get like sweaty and not lose my composure against people in Guilty Gear. So we might really just do samsho, even if we can't like actually get any good matches because of rollback being touchy, which is fair. Right, so other benefits of Rage, before I forget. Your attacks just do more damage. Your attacks also just do more damage when you're in max Rage. So, there's a thing where it's like, oh, wow, I have Rage. Sometimes, even if you don't like get the combo into WFT, if you just sit on that and you just cut people up a little bit, that's sometimes just enough, right? Yeah, being in Rage is like a really good way to get damage boosts, particularly because in this game, every character has at least one of their moves that's enhanced while they're in max Rage. So for Kazuki, for example, I'll demonstrate this by turning it off and then back on again. So Kazuki, for example, normally his 623, his Dragon Punch slash is this move, right? It does that. As you get charges, you can use stronger versions of it that consume different amounts of charges, and it does more damage, right? Right? So this is without Kazuki having max Rage. Now, when Kazuki has max Rage, even the regular version, right, gets more hits. Right? So the thing we're in, like, you can fuck people up in this game when you have Rage on. Like, it just hurts. It just hurts a lot. Yeah, plus I think people are still filtering back in Celestial. Yeah, I've given up the Celestial Climb in Guilty Gear Strive because it just aggravates me. Like, it's just aggravating, so it's not fun. So I think we're just going to wind up, even if we just lab a lot and I just show you all different characters, we might just play samsho today, honestly. But yeah, like, when you have Rage, right, like, this game basically is already tense enough without it, but when you have it, it becomes a lot. And this is, of course, not counting two other mechanics. As a sort of burst, you can do this either in neutral or while you're getting hit and you're on the ground. You can do a Rage Explosion, right? And when you do a Rage Explosion, the timer stops. You're basically treated as if you're in max Rage while it's going. But once the timer runs out, you don't have, you no longer have a, once the timer runs out, you no longer have a rage bar, like, at all. If you switch to Stride before Commander Night starts at 8 p.m., I wouldn't mind a match 2 with Axel. We'll see. I might. But I feel like, depending on the feeling, the vibe might just be like a labbing stream tonight. So, we'll see. I was planning on it because I was like, yeah, I know that the rollback's not up and running, but it's like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, we haven't really had a chance. It hasn't been that long since we played a game that isn't Drive, but it's also been like a minute since we've just been able to have like just like a to just really have like a long-term just let's sit down and lab a thing. No worries, just want to put it out there. So yeah, the main thing, right? The main reason why Rage Explosion matters so much is that you have access to Isen or Lightning Blade, right? While you're in Rage Explosion. And basically, the less life you have when you engage Rage Explosion, the longer it lasts for, and the earlier that you do Isen, or Lightning Blade, however you want to say it, the earlier you do Isen in a Rage Explosion, the more damage it does. Isen is also completely fucking invulnerable until its active frames are over. So basically, if you Rage Explode, right, and someone jumps at you, and they have no way of adjusting the jump angle, and you time it right, and they try to like jump attack you, but you're in Rage Explosion, you just Isen them as an anti-air, and they fucking eat shit and die. Again, this game is not... So, again, I wanted to re-emphasize this. Samurai Showdown is not a game that is slow. It is a game that is tense. And there's a difference between those two. It's not a slow game, it's a tense one. So for all that it is very unusual and kind of like how it plays and how it works, it can be very fun when it's working optimally. It's a good game, and I like it a lot. And so especially once the rollback stuff like gets smoothed out for final rollback update, we're gonna be in for some serious hang time. So let me detail Kazuki and how he works. People who hang out with me on Discord notice that I have a Darlie Dagger profile picture. This game is the game that Darlie Dagger is originally from. Not KOF 15. She's from this specific version of Samurai Showdown. So we will see Darlie Dagger in this game pretty soon. But I just want to kind of go over the 3 characters I play. We'll do a little bit of net play stuff if we can. And if that doesn't work out, we'll just stick to labbing the rest of the night. But I might just be stubborn and keep trying to let net play even if I have to restart it like 5 times. Because why not? So, Kazuki, the way that he works. He is generally a very short-range character, relatively speaking. But he has relatively good movement speed. And he also has a wall jump. A lot of his buttons also hit at like a variety of angles and things like that. So he has much better coverage than it looks like insofar as you know, how his attacks reach. He still has shorter range than a lot of other people, but he's relatively quick. And while his normals are short ranged, he has a lot of them that are really good at like doing cancels and things like that. Right? But Kazuki's main mechanic is rooted in his quarter circle back kick, his 214D. This is Flames of Disaster. Basically, every one of his special moves does a thing where, depending on which button you execute it with, it has different versions of it. For every version past the basic one, you need a certain amount of fireballs, right? So you can do the level 0 version of most of his special moves, right? If you use the A button or the light slash button, it's the level 0 version of basically all of his special moves that he has that can be charged up anyway. If you don't have any charges, then you can't do the powered up versions. With one charge, you can use the B button, medium slash, to do a slightly better version of... Let me turn off rage mode to kind of demonstrate this a little better. Let me turn off max rage rather. Right? With one charge, you can use the medium slash button for his fireball. You can use it for his fireball and the grab in order to slightly improve them. Two charges, you can use the kick button to get even better versions. And with 3 charges, you can use the heavy slash versions for the most damage, right? Now, the thing is though, that you do not have to commit to using all of his charges at the same time. What do I mean by that? If, for example, you have 3, right? Meatballs, we call them. If you have 3 meatballs, and you're in the corner, for example... Hang on, if I can do this correctly. I messed it up a little. It's a little difficult in the corner. You notice, I still have 1 fireball, right? Or I have at least 1 meatball. It's because you only consume as much charge as what button you're using. So if I do level 2, if I do a level 1 special move with Kazuki, and I happen to have 3 fireballs, I only use up 1 and keep 2. So, for example, I can do level 1 fireball, dash in. If I can do this correctly. Level 1 fireball, dash in, level 1 clutch, and if I had 3 stocked up, I've only used up 2. Obviously, you can choose to cash out a little harder than this if you want to. I messed up the timing on that a little bit. Hang on. Right? I could choose to cash out a little harder if I wanted to, and get that. Or if I wanted to make my life easier, level 2 fireball into level 1 clutch. Right? So for Kazuki, this is like a Kazuki specific thing. So Kazuki does have things that are closer to combos the way that you would expect them. But yeah, like the corner is where he gets a lot of that unless he has more resources. Like at mid screen, it's a little harder to actually get it because I have to burn level 2 and then get the spacing right on the dashing. Because the Samurai Showdown, right? When you do dashing attacks like this, you get a little bit of space, and some of them are special cancelable like that. But for Kazuki, right? If I'm up in somebody's face, if I don't do the spacing right, even at mid-screen, it gets a little harder, right? So at mid-screen, right? The thing that you might want to do is just like even that. Like, even at mid-screen, when you have even the resources, you may want to just, like... And you're like, dang, that's really annoying to get, right? If you happen to get like this, do that, charge a fireball, you can approach again, right? If you're trying to do, like, the really fancy stuff, you basically need to be, like, near... You can do some of this at mid-screen, it's just harder. So if you're trying to, like, do obnoxious combo shit, like with even Kazuki, for example, you need the corner for that. Or, if you happen to be at mid-screen, right? And you get, like, a grab. Do that, charge a fireball. Right? So, but yeah, like, the main thing is that Kazuki can play, like, an aggressive, in-your-face, like, being an asshole, running up on you, causing trouble sort of thing. Also, he has pants no jutsu, which is funny. So he can do all of these things, and when he has resources, even at mid-screen, it's like, it's still really scary, right? Because even if you choose not to do like some of the really complicated stuff, right? Like you catch people out with some things, and it's like, well, okay, you kind of just eat shit. So yeah, he's still very scary, even at mid-screen. It's just that he needs resources. So the main thing with Kazuki that you'll do is, you'll do a thing, get a knockdown, charge a fireball, and even if you're not using it for like combos and stuff, even his level 1 fireball moves pretty... Like, his level 0 fireball is kind of whatever. His level 1 fireball is really good for zoning because it's pretty fast and does a whole bunch of other stuff, right? So even if you're not using like his level 1 or level 2 fireballs for combos, right, they work really well as like space deterrents and things like that. And if people work around you, pop them with a 2C, and it's like, well, you know, bing bong, fuck your life, right? So that's basically Kazuki's thing, right? He's not completely useless without having meatball charges, but when he gets knockdowns and gets spaces, right, and gets the spacing for it, and then does that, right, you get big ouchies. And there are still characters that will do more damage off of single hits than Kazuki does, but in general, the man is kind of just a menace, and he's really cool in that particular sense. Okay, cool. Fight request does work from in here, so I can turn that on when I'm ready for it. So, that's Kazuki. I want to talk about Darlie, and I want to talk about Hibiki, and then I'm going to try to get some matches going. So, Darlie, right? Darlie is kind of the same as she is in King of Fighters 15. Her inputs are a little bit different, but for the most part, she's very much the same character. She's missing KOF 15 gave her an extra move that she doesn't have in this game, but we can still kind of work around it. A couple extra moves. Darlie is pretty much still much the same, right? If you see me playing in KOF, you recognize this button. You recognize this button. And you recognize this button. Right? And while her jump arcs are a lot bigger in this game, she also jumps relatively quickly, right? So, the main thing with Darlie is that, especially in this game, she's a menace with her JB, because it's a cross-up. And her jump arcs happen very fast and very quick. Her ground buttons are a little lackluster still, right? But she still has nonsense like this, right? Whereas, like, you do stuff into, like, blade surf and things like that. But of note, right, is that when you're up close with her blade surf in this game, there is a point where it will, in fact, if you don't block it correctly, I think it's a matter of if you space it or you do some other thing, it actually will cross up in like the middle of this shit. So it's like, you got, and it crossed up on you, right? And of course she has like this drop kick and this. She still has catch and release. The main thing that Darlie does not have in this game is that she doesn't have the anti-air caliper where she aims it upward and then slams them down, but she doesn't really need it. Blade Surf in this game has certain degrees of like anti-air property to it if you time it correctly. And people jumping in this game like they do in KOF is not necessarily a thing that happens that often. She still has command throw, of course. The input is actually even easier in this game because it's just quarter circle back instead of half circle back. Like if you knock somebody down, right, and they try to roll past you, you can just pop them with that, and they kind of have to just eat shit. And that's still a safe jump, right? Hammer still does hammer things, right? But the main difference is that the different versions of hammer take different amounts of time to charge up. Like, if you notice, the heavy version takes... Like, even her startup is a little slower. But something that she has in this game, and this is a gimmick that I'm never going to use, so don't expect to ever really see me do it in a real match. The nice thing about the heavy version of her hammer, even though it takes a little bit longer to charge, the heavy version of her hammer, when it's either half charged or full charged, will cause a stun state. And Darlie, when she's disarmed in this game, has a move that will basically, so you can disarm yourself, right? And she has a move that when you use it to disarm yourself, she basically just like, hang on if I can do this correctly. You can also dash cancel it, but it hurts a lot, right? That said, if you use the strongest version of it, right, it is entirely possible, though extremely unlikely, that if you stun somebody with like the fully charged version of this move, disarm, and if you time it right, you'll kill them, basically in 2 hits. But 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Like, to get a full charge on that move, it takes like a good 4 to 5 seconds. Right? So, like, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5. Right? Get disarmed there. And you have to time it just right, that after you do that, you disarm, walk forward a little bit, do the heavy version, and it's a wrap. But nobody is going to let you charge that shit for 5 whole seconds if they know how it works. So, it's kind of a gimmick. But the main thing that Darlie has, right, her air buttons are really good. She has command grab. He has this for like jump-ins and shit like that. Blade Surf will basically convert. Blade Surf basically converts off of anything casually if you manage to hit it, and does like a shit ton of damage. Right? Like, Darlie is basically just here to make your life miserable if she puts hands on you. That's kind of just the way that it works. 5. Yeah, like basically, right? If Darlie manages to like touch you, you're not gonna have a good time. Like, you just eat shit. But the main thing is that her ground buttons are not super great. She does have a hard time getting in on people in the first place. And it's just one of those things where, yeah, absolutely. It's just one of those things where, like, absolutely, right? She will absolutely fuck you up if she manages to get in on you. Oh, right, I forgot. We should talk about her, hang on. Is this important? Her Rage, right? So 2 things. When she's in max rage, right? the heavy version of Blade Surf basically turns into this. You may recognize that as the EX version of Blade Surf from KOF. Damage, right? Her weapon flipping technique in this game is one of her level 1 supers from KOF. Or rather, in KOF, one of her level 1 supers is her weapon flipping technique in this game, right? And then we have this, her super special move, right? Her super special move that you see here is her climax super in KOF 15. You are, listen to me, this is gonna be wild. You can't combo into super special moves most of the time, right? Like, basically speaking, it is, like, basically, right, the only way that most times you're gonna get, the only way that most of the time you're gonna actually get to use a super special move is if you manage to, I did the thing wrong. If you manage to disarm somebody, I didn't do it right. It's supposed to be this button. I need to do the command correctly. It's forward back. Alright, so let me see. Why is it not coming out? So basically, right, the only time that you're gonna, not that you never get to, but doing like a super special move raw is very risky. So like most of the time, the only time you're gonna get it is if somebody uses like a B normal like that, right? Like a heavy slash. If you can get the deflect, and you can punish them with it, that's usually the only time you get to use a super special move, like, raw. But you have to be... Right? Like, you see how long Kazuki is like, yo, wait a minute, wow, I can't, lol. At some point I'm going to be able to actually do this properly. Like that, basically, right? Like if you're trying to combo into it. Like, pretty much no character can actually combo into their SSM. So either you're going to be doing it as like there's like a mega punish for something, or ha, I got the deflect, now you can eat shit, right? But you can only use your super special move once per match, and even if you whip it, it still counts. So if you're gonna use it, don't whip it. Is basically the way that works. So, the last character I want to show off is the three that I happen to play, right? For those of you that are familiar with other SNK fighting games, you may, or even with Capcom vs. SNK 2, you may recognize Hibiki Takane. He is from The Last Blade 2, which is another weapons fighting game by SNK, but very different vibe than Samurai Showdown in certain aspects. So Hibiki is a guest character from The Last Blade. And so, if Kazuki is like, I got short range, but I'm fast, and I will ruin your shit with meatballs, and Darlie is like, haha, gorilla damage all day, every day, right? Wrong word. Sorry, big damage all day, every day. Hibiki basically is very much in the Hibiki is very much in the category of I do a lot of things really good, and in most tier lists, she's like a really, really good character. Why that is relatively straightforward. She has a really good selection of buttons in general. Her jump is a little floaty, which is not great for this game. And she's not super great on like the high-low 50-50 front, but she has moves that reach relatively far, right? She has a lot of techniques for like faking people out. She has a parry very similar like Vikings, for example. If I can do this correctly. Without getting absolutely wrecked. Right? Right? So she has a pretty good selection of moves. Can cover a fairly decent amount of like range and space, is relatively quick. Even though her jump is kind of floaty, she has a pretty good selection of like good poking normals, right? To kind of like just aggravate people without having to close distance, right? Her rage enhanced special is also really, really good. And her weapon flipping technique is also... Weapon flipping technique hits from, like, really far away, too, relatively speaking. It's relatively fast. Overall, all these things are really good. The main thing is just that she doesn't have, like, a really strong high-low game, necessarily. She can make it work, but not quite. And her super special move is not terrible, but the range is kind of finicky. So if you get like a deflect punish from really far, if you get like a deflect from like really far out, if I can do this without fucking it up, like at this range, for example, if I could do it without dodging by accident. Like, it'll hit at this range. But if you get, like, a deflect from, like, way farther out, for example, than where I was, like, you kind of suck salt, because, like, you can't really do that afterward. You'll have to go for, like, this. Or something like this, rather. You have to go for, like, something like that instead. Which is not bad, obviously, but certain things are just a little more difficult with her. That said, she's still a really good character, and I like her a lot. She's really cool. So let's actually turn on fight request and see what I get. So the main thing to kind of keep in mind about Samurai Showdown, there's a couple other things to sort of keep in mind. This is not a game where like jumping combos in this game are kind of hard because of the way that the a lot of the way that like the hit stop works on attacks, it makes it very hard to actually like get it makes it really hard, truthfully, to get jumping attacks. It's not a thing that you do very often. Not that you never jump, but that getting like combos where it's like, oh, I hit with a jumping attack, and now I have all this other stuff that I can do, right? That doesn't happen very often. Trying to fight Rimu in rollback hell is not fun. believe it or not, even with the stuttering, it is slightly more stable than it was. I didn't want to do that, actually. Good. I didn't want to do that. I just... Thank you. Oh wait, what did I get hit by? I don't even know. I don't even know. Throw. I have a vague idea of where she is when the rollbacks aren't bad, but it's a little hard. Okay, I must have stepped on a trap. Ooh, wait, why did you rage explode? Why did you do that? Okay, see, so the thing is that now that Rimuru did Rage Explosion, she has no fucking rage meter anymore. So it's not that you never do it, but it's like you gotta be sure if you're gonna do that, you gotta be confident about that call. Cause if you fuck up, that's gonna whip. Damn. Oh, I think oh. Right? Like, people are like, yeah, like, this is boring, right? But it's like, what reason do I have to rush in here? I'm working at a resource advantage, right? Wait, what? What the heck happened there? Hold on. The fuck? Huh? 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 Okay, I don't know what happened there, but that's okay. No, I would rather not rematch you. I don't know what happened there. All I can say is that that might have been a bad enough desync that on their end, they actually were doing things that I couldn't see. And so, that's why I lost. I'm not upset, because it's like, well, yeah, this shit is, a lot TM, but like, So we'll see if I get one that's not so cursed. But yeah, other reasons why Hibiki happens to be really good. It's just that, like, again, like, this is not a very like, Samurai Showdown is not a very combo heavy game. So if you're worried about, like, oh, I gotta learn combos to play samsho, you don't. You really don't. Like, Samurai Showdown is not a combo game. It is a game that rewards, don't lose your fucking nerve. It's basically the simplest way I could put it. You know how, like, we make jokes about, like, biblical angels doing the whole thing where it's like, be not afraid, right? Right? Hang on, I forgot where I was going with that joke. Shit. But my point being, right, is that this game is not very combo heavy. Be not afraid of, like, having to learn combos and things like that. Really, if you're playing samsho, it's really about, like, just... Oh, right, I forgot. That's another fun thing that happens. Oh, we get a freeze? Yeah, we got a freeze. So, oh, I think we're good. Yeah, so getting jumping combos in this game is a little harder because of just the way that, like... I didn't want pants jutsu. Not what I wanted either. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? So yeah, when I say that Samurai Showdown is not a fast game, it is a tense one, that's what I mean, right? Like, this person literally... did two things wrong, and I pressed two buttons, and I ruined their shit. Right? So, like, you notice, during that entire match, I didn't do any combos. I didn't have to do any combos. This is not a game where you have to know how to do combos. Not in the way that, like, most people think that you need to. It's like, no, you don't need to know combos to play this game. You need to learn things, obviously. Like, this is not just a game where it's like, oh, there's nothing to learn in this game. Plenty of things to learn. But it's not about combo theory. It's about, like, when you can get away with doing certain things, right? Ah, I got guard crushed. So yeah, like, you don't need combos to play this game. I know the impression is a little bit stilted, I know, because of, LOL, the rough state of the rollback beta, but, like, this is not a game where you need, like, a lot of combos, right? I think I might have gotten hit by other things during that match that I couldn't see, because that move doesn't normally do that much damage. I'm enraged now. Oh, okay, that's fair. So they tried to hit me with Isen and messed it up. So, you're not completely helpless when you're disarmed, right? You have the ability to do something called a blade catch, where basically if you're disarmed, right, and you do the same input that you would use for a deflect, then what happens is you'll catch the blade in between your hands and fling it away from your opponent. So you can like forcibly disarm them so you can have time to pick your weapon back up. And that's what they were trying to go for, but couldn't pull it off. That's fair. Oh no! Oh, okay. That was bad. I almost got hit. I got scared. But weapon flipping. So basically, what happened was that she tried to hit me with the weapon flipping technique, and those don't have invul. Ah, damn, I messed up the combo. Okay. Nope. Nope. So, right, you noticed. So, what they did there, right? If you're on the ground and getting hit, you can rage explode even if you're in the middle of getting hit, but you have to be on the ground. So what they did there was, I hit them with my dashing attack, they rage exploded afterward, and then did an Isen because they thought I was going to press a button. But the problem is that I was like not doing anything after the rage explosion, so they did the Isen, left themselves wide open on my other side because I blocked it, and I just turned around and gave them the old Vassal Dazzle, and then that's it. That's it. That's the end. The show's over. So again, Samurai Showdown, and you'll notice that there was this whole thing, right, where I kind of just sat there for a while, right, and I just didn't do anything. And people will see that in Samurai Showdown and go, this game is slow and it's boring. But it's like, putting aside jittery net play stuff, right? Realistically, when you look at that situation, it's a thing where it's like, okay, we're trying to sort of gauge out who's gonna do something first, and potentially who's gonna do something first that is so absurdly ill-advised that I catch you out and like basically crack your shins for it, right? And that's why I say that Samurai Showdown is not a slow game, it's a tense game. And people who kind of just go like, yeah, Samurai Showdown is just boring. right? It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, no, that's not really it. It's really largely that this game is about tension, right? Who can deal with the tension and the anxiety better? Who is able to kind of keep their head and keep their head in the game and not like do wildly inappropriate shit at like the worst time. Case in point, right? Oop. Like Tam Tam, even though he has like relatively low damage, you see the size of these buttons, right? Oh. Ah, fuck! And then I got disarmed. That's fair. Ah, shit. I got guard broken. Damn, I thought I grabbed. So yeah, there's also a strategy to like, when can you pick up your weapon when you've been disarmed, right? Because as y'all saw, right, I left myself wide open and I got chompy chomped for it. Ah, damn, couldn't make it. Yeah, like Samurai Showdown is not a slow game. It is a tense game. I know I keep saying that, but I kind of like, I kind of want to emphasize it, right? That the main thing with Tam Tam, right? He doesn't have a lot of damage, but his buttons are really fucking long, right? So it's a thing where it's like, a lot of like, getting around Tam Tam's bullshit is like, making sure that you actually, you know, you gotta punish correctly and things like that. You have to punish correctly and things like that, and the main things that like Tam Tam has an advantage in this matchup is that his reach is really long. Also, this Tam Tam doesn't quite know how to do recoil cancels. Okay, that's a lie. They do, but they're just not doing it very often. So. I don't know what the fuck happened there, because I didn't take that much. I didn't think I took that much damage, but. Oh, tried to command for me. Oh, I got grabbed. Damn. I'm gonna probably bite it because I fucked up. Don't. I read the move wrong. But as an example, if I hadn't fucked up the Isen there, right? If I could have properly waited for Tam Tam to actually press a button, I had basically enough left in the tank that an Isen would have fucking wrecked his shit, and that would have been it. I didn't want to do that. I wanted that, thank you. There we go. Alright, guard crushed. I didn't... What? Yeah. So yeah, like there, for example, right? Tam Tam literally just tried to run up and grab me, whipped by half an inch, and therefore fucking beefed it. I don't know if that's gonna make it in time. Okay, rage exploded. God damn. I got hit. I got hit with the chop. However, I do have full meatballs, so there's that. Yeah. The nice thing about Pants no Jutsu is that it does have a little bit of invulnerability. So if you time it correctly, in certain circumstances, you can in fact use it to just call out some bullshit and be like, haha! I do want to switch characters. I want to try out a little bit of Hibiki in this matchup to sort of see how it goes. So yeah, now that y'all see what this game looks like when we have a mostly stable internet connection, hopefully, I also was not expecting, I wasn't expecting it to be so stable, relatively speaking, this time out today. It's obviously still not perfect, but like literally I was trying to play matches yesterday in this rollback beta, and I was just like, I was getting nothing. Yeah. That's not gonna hit. No, I shouldn't have done that. I'm dead. Or close to it. Wait, the only... So yeah, right? Like, my shutdown's not a... Again. Not a slow game at all. Very tense one. And it's a lot about like making the right decisions at the right time. Yeah, honestly. Yeah, I wasn't sure what to do there. Tamu Tamu.
真剣勝負1本目始め 2本目始め。
That's fair. And I'm disarmed. Damn it. Ah, fuck.
勝者タムタム。お前なかなか強い。
But no, this is good. We got a good, nice, stable. We got a good, nice, stable. A good, nice, stable connection. So I actually get to like show y'all to a certain degree anyway. Because again, I haven't seriously played this game in a while, and even when I was like still seriously playing it, I was not super good at it. And before I have anybody like come rush in here and say, "Don't talk down on yourself," SJ, like, no, I mean seriously, I was like, like straight up, no, I'm not that great at it. If we're talking strictly from a sense of like actually having like a strong sense of like game understanding, I'm not. That's not me. I don't have that. That's fair. Ah.
勝者タムタム。2本目勝負。
Got that. Alright, I forgot. So yes, if you hit people with a strong enough attack to finish them off in this game, it's not bloody. I forgot to turn it off. That's my fault. But you can in fact, you can turn it off. But yeah, like you can straight in fact like chop a motherfucker. Okay, so I can't do that. That's a low. No wonder I got hit by that. I forgot. that spinning thing is a low. Damn. He threw a skull high. So, like the Tam Tam, right? The main thing is that when he does like the skull throwing thing, he can throw at 2 heights, and he can throw more than one. Damn it. Yeah. Yeah, so like that's Tam Tam's main thing, right? He doesn't have to do a lot of damage. He doesn't do a lot of like damage all in one shot, but he does have a very strong tendency to be able to just like kind of stuff people with his longer range buttons and just kind of be an aggravation. Fireball, with the way that his fireball works in particular, is one of those things where it's like, well, okay, he spat the fireball, I'm gonna run up and punish him. But if you happen to be standing like right where it's gonna detonate anyway, even if you punish him, you kind of eat shit. Oh, okay. Charlotte is an interesting matchup. Charlotte is a character who plays very defensively. If Vallejo is still here, depending, I don't know. You may have to watch and see if she's his style, but basically she has like a lot of like poking and like projectiles to like keep people out kind of thing. Provided obviously that you poke with her correctly. Which this person, yeah, like she's very good at like playing, if you use her correctly, very good at playing like the poke and aggravate the fuck out of people thing. Like in particular, like with Tri-Slash, if you use it correctly, it's a really good way of like getting people to jump when they shouldn't. Bayonet lunge, even though it's a little slow, can't be deflected. I probably should have gone for WFT there to disarm her. Invisible fireball. Lol. Unfortunately for her, I called out the roll. Okay. Went for the rage explosion. Good call. Oh. Well, sort of a good call. If she can sit on my weapon, then yes, but she couldn't manage it, so hang on. So yeah, right? Like that's the main thing. Like Charlotte, like the main things about Charlotte that can make her really difficult to kind of like deal with, right? Is that her bayonet lunge move, while it's a little slow, you can't deflect it, right? in the same way that when Hibiki is doing these, right? You can't deflect these. So in the same way, right, when Charlotte does bayonet lunge, you can't deflect that either. And a lot of her other normals are just really good at like poking and things like that. So she's a very good like sort of like pace setting character. Like it's not a thing where like you can poke and you can zone and you don't have to close on people like that. Mainly it's a thing for like you want to shut down people at mid screen and kind of like keep people out and do like other close punish kinds of things with her is more or less the way that she works. But she is not like the absolute like stay away from me forever character. That's not her thing in particular. She's very good at acting like a wall, kind of like pissing people off in that sense, but she is not the character that can like keep people out for like 6 billion years. So Mina is interesting because I haven't fought her in this game specifically. In the last Samurai Showdown game that Mina was in, she was basically exclusively like near exclusively like a long range character, but kind of actually really shit at zoning for all of that. But now, like a lot of her old arrow normals and things like that are set in a particular in a stance. And she actually just has more normals that kind of like that let her like fight up close and then push people away. Get grabbed. I didn't want to do that. Depending on how she enters exit stand, it's I forget the exact command for it, but it's not like super complicated. Like you enter a command to enter stance, and then I think after you fire like an arrow, you leave it. I can check that right now. Hina Majikina. If my thing will load. Special. Yeah. It's literally just quarter circle forward and any slashing button, and she'll enter stance. Then you do it again and she'll leave. Or not what I wanted to do, but good damage, so it's fine. I got hit by the grab. Okay. Oh! I didn't punish it, but that was not ideal of you. Okay, very good. Good DP. You're dead. And y'all can see why Kazuki... I still like playing Darlie in this game, but Kazuki is closer to what is most effective for me as a player. Even though he needs like charges and things, because he's quick and he still does a relatively good amount of damage, it's like, okay, I can stock up and do things. Ah, I wanted to throw, and I got caught instead. That's fair. Ooh! Can't jump at me like that. Dangerous living. I messed up the... Why? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Like, even if I lose the round... Okay, so I lost the round, which is fair. But now, this is the problem that they're gonna have to work around. Now that they used up Rage Explosion, I still have mine. They don't have Rage, right? They have to be real confident in like their ability to be able to like, keep me out with that stuff consistently. And if they fuck up, I'm going to like literally eat them alive. Don't do that. Good throw. So yeah, like this is the main problem now, right? So theoretically, can they absolutely wear me down with like the right use of like arrows and things like that? Yes, but I still have rage. If things go absolutely fucking pear-shaped, I've still got Rage Explosion. So they have to be absolutely positive that they can handle, that they can do the other stuff correctly. They fuck it up. Shit. I'll give it to them. I was talking too much shit and I got done up for it. But yeah, like, again. I'll say it again. Samurai Showdown is not a slow game. It is a tense game. I agree. Welcome in, Yu-Kun. Glad to see you here. Yeah, like this is not a slow. It's a tense. It is, but that's the thing. Like people will mistake like a lot of the moments where people just aren't doing anything as it's slow. But no, like it's not like necessarily everybody's like doing like 6 billion forms of calculus in their head, but they are thinking really hard about like, okay, what is the actual thing I want to do here? if I fuck up and I make a bad call, I get my shit pushed in. Ow. I wanted to throw there and not whatever I got, but that's my own fault. Yep, that's fair. Ooh. Yeah, it's not a combo heavy game, but yeah. But it didn't have to be, which is the fun part, right? Because I literally was just like, hey, I'm gonna get a dashing B normal and combo into flame choke, and you died. And sometimes that's fun. There we go. Good. Okay, good. I got caught by the throw. I can already say, based on like the 2 or 3 times I've had to fight Mina in the last game, in Samurai Shodown 5 Special, they did a very good job of changing up her style for this game, while still retaining some of like the things that people generally think of when they think of her from Samurai Shodown 5 Special. Don't jump. Okay. You did jump, but not the... But... Ooh! I told you don't jump! Don't jump. Why'd you jump? I wish they had put characters like Rera and Gyro from Bio Special in this. Rera in this game would be really interesting. I was also a Rera player in 5 Special. It'd be interesting. I feel like if they see the numbers resurge once rollback is solidified in this, and they're like, let's do another Samurai Shodown a little bit down the while after New Mark of the Wolves, maybe at that point we might see. But like Rera is like, I do kind of yeah, Samsho 8 would be fucking wild. But I think it's gonna depend on what they're doing with the new Gato game. Because basically at this point we basically have, at least as things stand right now, what I would consider SNK's sort of like premier trifecta of fighting games are basically what we're gonna have with the last, with when the new Gato game comes out. We'll have a new Gato, right? We'll have a new Gato. We'll have this with rollback, and we'll have KOF 15, right? And that's sort of like SNK's, what I consider SNK's trifecta of like the things in their staple, or in their stable of the things that are in their stable of the things that are sort of in their stable of like games that people really enjoy will be those 3. Because people really like, so Gato is also known as Fatal Fury. So we'll have basically a new Fatal Fury game, we'll have Samurai Shodown, and we'll have KOF, which all represent in their own ways very different styles of fighting, right? With Gato, it's going to be interesting to see how they do it, because of the fighting game series that SNK has done that has seen like the most change over the course of the franchise, I would probably have to say that if it's not KOF, it's Fatal Fury. Because initially, right, if I remember correctly anyway,